and everyone else. I am here with Kyle and Owie yet again. Guys, so happy to see TNC coming back after that horrific game one. Horrific. Guys, ready for the draft?
Yeah. And I'm happy that TNC took a game. They did it the same way they did yesterday, too. They got kind of owned in game one. They bring out the TA game two, TA Wyvern specifically. So now it'll be interesting to see how much does EG adjust. Do they just remove TA entirely? Do they game plan against it better?
In this series, is sort of reminding me of the EG TNC series in the group stage, where EG, they got those lanes in game one. They dominated, similar to the game one in this series. Game two, it's sort of the same story. You know, they looked like they were really strong, but TNC were clawing their way back into it until like this Terrorblade hero just dominated the entire game. EG didn't have that type of hero this game. Instead, they had Razor, yeah, Bat Rider, and Leshrac Chorus, and
which not really conventional for them. You know?
No, it's weird.
Arteezy's like the single core, and they all play around it. This was more of a, I don't even know who's even running like this kind of style.
I don't think anyone's running styles like this one. Maybe like some Neon draft from the Singapore major, I would say, where you would have Skem on like some Furion or Lesh, but it did feel a bit off. And they almost made it work, to be fair. There was a time where I think F was mentioning that Leshrac got really tanky, thought his item build was pretty cool, but at the end of the day, you just couldn't keep up with the scale. I think more than just a TA, there was just this Aghanim Scepter Dragonite who was super tanky, sitting there, couldn't touch him. You have to use Link on TA, you have to use Link on DK. Ice is overloaded, and it's hard to play.
Yeah. What do you think of that Lycan? You think we'll be seeing more Lycan? I mean,
that was a really good Lycan game.
Yeah. And it also kind of tilts it, you know, EG, maybe they don't have to GG out, but after they lose that last team fight, like they have lost the game. You can't outscale. And the other benefit of the DK is the magic resist when you get the Ags. Like, the hero is actually like too good. Part of the reason I think maybe it's picked up so early is because in the you're viable at all phases of the game. Laning stage, pretty tough to lose a lane as a DK. Later on the mid game, you have a blink, you buy a BKB, all right, you're feeling good. Aghanims actually just makes you a beast late game. Terrain walking, you're indestructible. Very strong talents as well. Like,
yeah, I feel a bit like the items that he could build on TNC were a lot more free flowing. We saw like the offlaner was able to get a nullifier. Ice sort of had to itemize just to like sort of stay alive. You couldn't get any aggressive potential out. So we'll sort of see if EG in this next draft can maybe pick more robust heroes that allow them to fight into the late game. Because I think that's normally the EG style.
Yeah.
Pick for lanes, have the scale.
This was like a liquid draft where they just don't have a real carry.
Just super high execution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And everybody, you know, you can still win the game, don't get me wrong, but when you think Arteezy, he's not a Lesh player. And it's nothing against him, but he's an agility hero player. And this was a bit awkward. And I think you made a point, was it, Owie, just before we went live, about how they didn't really seem to control the armor properly. End of the day, they were playing against 3 physical damage carries, and Leshrac has a Shiva as well.
It feels hard to...
No E-Blades in sight.
They had an E-Blade on Earth Spirit, but the nullifier from Lycan is just too much, and it's hard to itemize if all 3 of your cores have to build armor items. Normally, one hero is able to build like these Mantis, Scotty, Butterfly types that naturally give you armor.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think focusing on this draft, they picked the TA last game. I think Magnus was the other hero I saw on TNC that was huge for them. Every time they have this hero, they play it so well. I think, were they the ones who played as 5 as well? I can't quite remember.
It was a long time ago.
I think they played Magnus PA safely, and I'm pretty sure. Might have been Execration.
I feel like it might have been Execration.
I'm terrible. But they did play it on safe lane and mid, and it looked very strong.
We have the signature Ice Timbersaw coming out here. Whew! Sometimes in Dota, it's like, you know, watching one of them Yu-Gi-Ohs and they just pull out their signature card, you know? That's one of them. Ice Timbersaw. You just know it's going to be good. The crit Earth Spirit. I mean, that's like some powerful Blue Eyes White Dragon S right there.
And if you're up for elimination in the major, that's what you're going to go for, right? Like your comfort hero, pick what heroes you think you'll perform best on.
You remind me, I had a childhood friend. We were dueling Yu-Gi-Oh! He took out 2 Blue Eyes White Dragons, and he started them in the discard pile. I was like, yeah, I'm not going to use them in the deck this game. And then later on, he had some card that allows you to play all the ones you have in your hand, and he played 3 of them. And I was like, where are those ones from your discard pile? And he picked up all those cards and left my house.
Damn.
Who cheats at Yu-Gi-Oh?
Well, you know,
God damn it, Sean.
it's either that or the Shadow Realm, so what are you gonna do?
It's true. Either way, I love the Timber into the Wyvern. You can be a little annoyed by the Q, the Arctic Burn, dealing max HP damage, but you hunt the Wyvern in trees. Cold Embrace is completely useless against all of your damage, and assuming this is the safe lane support, Timber just doesn't really care.
Yeah, for sure. And he's good against Magnus. I think... Actually, I've been told that Magnus sometimes is good versus Timbersaw because the heroes that you pair with Magnus at some point burst Timbersaw because of the extra empower damage. You need to take a lot of hits on Timbersaw to get that reactive armor up. I've seen a lot of games where it's like Mag PA versus Timbersaw where the PA eventually just one-shots him in 1 second. However, like theoretically, like if they match up in lane or in the early game, you definitely have a timing on him where you're strong because Magnus is just a tanky strength. Luna.
Okay.
So Magnus Luna, that's weird, right?
I'd say so. It's like 2 drafts in 1. Maybe a bit of an eye pick.
Yeah, I mean they want Luna versus Timbersaw. I think that's been a really clear, good lane matchup. But I don't like Magnus Luna. I don't think they have. I mean they're like good team fight. You have some disable. Like they have a lot of things, but it doesn't feel fluid. Like correct with the Magnus lineup. Like I want the heroes that jump in with the empower. They farm faster and they burst.
No, I agree. And I think that EG with the bans, they're going after more of TNC's comfort heroes, you know, ignoring the PA but banning out Ursa and MK. I love the Abaddon pickup here. It's one of my favorite counters to Mag. You remove the RP off of an ally. In general, just kind of walk in, right? Absorb damage and keep your Timbersaw alive.
He's really good versus Luna for the same reason. If you use the clips, you can pop your ulti. And versus Magnus, he's one of the only saves where you can just play beside your carry.
Yeah.
And he RPs both of you. It's like, ooh, 2-man.
Yeah, you just pop
ulti, shield, completely nullifies his impact.
No, it's a really solid pick. And this is where the Luna gets a little spooky because, you know, if I see a Mag PA, that's, you know, RP not necessary to find kills. You play around your PA, RP can be like the 2nd or 3rd initiating tool, but with a Luna, I'm looking at this TNC lineup, I'm thinking, how do they actually start fights? Like, what's the game plan? You know, walk forwards?
Yeah,
RP
I mean,
to initiate? That's
Luna
real
with
rough.
high net worth can sort of just push the issue. But something you said that made me think about this draft is that how I see Luna is that she gives a lot of teamfight, laning, control. She gets really tanky. If you play this Magnus mid as more of a single target hero, you'll play for yourself the old school like Echo Saber BKB dataless. I used to see that a lot. It was like GPK playing it in pubs. You can provide that single target damage. If your only job as Magnus, like they pick an initiator for the offlane last, if your only job is to get a solo RP and kill someone,
Yeah.
I can see it working because Magnus, at the end of the day, you do have an anti-BKB stun.
Yeah.
The carry BKBs, you RP him, he can't get shielded anymore, and you can do your magic and let Luna play.
No, that's a good point because your lane safe will be fine. Luna plus Wyvern or Ranch I think is going to be A-okay. And then as a Mag, you're playing for yourself, as you said.
Yeah.
You're just a solid mid hero, right? Think of it as a Mars, as a tiny, except with more scaling power. You obviously obtain a lot more net worth, and you're much more powerful moving into the late game. So you could have something there. I like that EG go back for the Abed Ember Spirit. Very good against the support duo, just high reach. Luna, Mag, like they basically just have RP and Curse right now for lockdown. Probably look to see them ban out. They banned out Lesh. I thought they'd get rid of maybe, I mean, I guess Slaughter is kind of a dead hero, but perhaps LC as well, just so that the TNC lineup would have a cleanse. I also really like having an attack speed steroid with my Luna. Plus hard catch for the Ember.
Yeah, they definitely need something to catch this Ember. TNC do have some counterplay to its Ember. I think 2 things in particular. One, Enchantress can remove the Flame Guard.
Yeah.
Always very important versus Ember. And the second is, I'm pretty sure that matchup mid is terrible. Magnus versus Ember.
Yeah.
Like, you get skewered into tower a couple times, you don't have Remnant to level 6, and you're not a particularly beefy hero. If you have to play Scared on lane as a melee hero versus the Magnus skewer, he will win the lane because he's just naturally high damage. So maybe Abed has a read on a matchup that I don't. I mean, honestly, like, all these mid players know all the matchups better than me because I can't play mid.
Yeah.
But I'm a bit worried about that. We'll see how that goes.
It's okay, you could play techies, that's all that counted. EG banned out mid heroes though. So they expect the offlane mag, it appears,
Okay.
banned out Lesh and DP. Technically those are offlaners as well, but I think
I can see EG's line of thought too, because I talked about this Magnus, you know, maybe he's a damage hero's mid. They played him also, actually they played in a lot of roles, but that's a lot of farm if you have Luna Mag 1 and 2. So I can completely see
Dire's turn to pick.
dynamic, this Timbersaw Enchantress matchup, because I actually don't like playing Enchantress versus Timbersaw. I think that Impetus is really good versus him.
I speak for the
He
team.
stomps all your pushes and he's pretty good in lane.
Know exactly what you were talking about. High tempo, again the Lion Fury pairing, but solidify the early game dominance. I agree, like it's one of those scenarios where you sort of both kind of and can't itemize 5 minutes.
Exactly.
There's nothing you can buy. Nothing feels good.
5 seconds
and if he gets a melee
remaining.
range, that also limits your damage output. You don't. This is irrelevant.
Yeah, I feel really awkward 5-edge trying to itemize for damage as well. Even that Kuroki game, I think it was like 8-0, he started building damage items. He's just like, wait, this isn't my role. I'm gonna go back for Holy Lock and Mech. Like, even if you think you can right click, something in your team is missing because your previous role of tanking it up, healing was unfulfilled. You have to get a balanced line to cover your.
I will say LC jumps out matchup-wise as best hero.
I can see that, yeah, that looks pretty good.
But my concern is, does that help you alleviate the pressure? Because you don't actually have an answer. You don't have a hero that can be in that lane and actually threaten ice it all. But
Yeah, and
I don't know what that hero would be.
I feel if the line was flipped, like you had for Timbersaw, maybe they feel comfortable doing that. Like, we'll beat this Timbersaw because we will shut him down a lane. A bit risky, to be honest. It's a scary thing having to shut down one hero, but I feel like EG would be capable of it. I don't think you want to go like that against EG. You don't want to play, we will beat you in the lanes, and as a result, beating in the lanes will have higher tempo. They go for the Bat Rider.
Into in a bat.
Okay. It is good for Timbersaw and Furion though, traditionally, right?
It has to just dominate the lane, and the danger I always have when you play core bat into a support that hard counters you, it's very easy now for the fly a bat and just say, okay, hey, where's the bat guys? And then he'll just go to that lane and shield off napalm stacks and go stack. Bat is actually a terrible laner. You can't aggro on
That is
heroes
true.
with napalm stack.
I mean, Bat Rider is played a bit less for Lasso and more for Firefly farm now, but I agree with that. Like, in the team fights, it feels awkward to play this Bat Rider as your last pick in the game. Your last pick is supposed to change how the game state is, like change the entire draft. I don't know if Bat Rider does it.
Might have to fight some but they have a very bursty lineup as well. How about those team fights for them? Quick thoughts on the draft? Final thoughts, guys? Kyle?
No predictions.
No predictions.
Please
Final
don't.
Thoughts. I don't predict here.
I think that there's a couple heroes I really like in this. Lost, and I think Cider Games has had a very good record.
All right, awesome. Right here, it looks like you're about to make a prediction off right there. Ladies and gentlemen, game 3, Evil one will survive, one will pass it on to our wonderful casters of.
Thank you, friends. Suns fan with Cinderin. I really wanted to hear the Kyle prediction. I'm not going to lie. He has yet to be correct, which I think is what he's going for. So
it's kind of a crazy superpower to have. He can just inflict misery on people.
I know exactly how he feels sitting with you here, although we're standing, so that didn't make sense. Let's get into the game before I say anything more idiotic, Cinderin, but I'm sure we have a lot more of that to come.
You have a game ahead of you. You'll say something stupid. That's fine.
Just want to cast another highlight, a replay. But, Cinderin, looking at these lineups, what are your thoughts? Are you surprised that they were able to get the Nature's Prophet as a final pick for EG when it had such great success last game? Or game 1?
I'm not too surprised because I think TNC have decent solutions. Obviously, like you said, in game 1 it rolled them, but I think this time the conditions of the game are pretty different. TNC have better lanes. In game 1 they had a bad and morph safe lane. This time they have Ench Luna, possibly. Or Wyvern Luna, whichever one they want to place there, or they can move their lanes around. And I kind of disagree with the panel. I feel like they're downplaying a little bit how good the Batrider can be in this game. I think he has a lot of potential. Yes, you're playing against a 5 Abaddon. Abaddon is not always going to be in the right position at the right time. He can't always cover the Batrider's movements when Bat gets travels. And I just see Batrider being amazing against everything else, right? So I'd rather look at it as a glass half full thing for TNC than half empty, because a lot of the times when you do get these last picks and you wonder, you're like, they do have one counter. Usually you look at teams at this level will be looking at the bigger picture and seeing, okay, what does this give us? And sometimes the perfect pick doesn't exist, you know? A lot of the times, it's the same for teams like Nigma. Historically, you watch their drafts and you're like, okay, this is a good pick, but... And then they just play around the but.
I'm not going to go where I want to right now.
Okay.
So the game begins, Cinderin. Nice attempted bait there. Appreciate that. What do you think of this matchup, though? Batrider versus Ember. Obviously, you have the Flame Guard, but it is a melee hero after all. Which hero on paper do you think has that advantage, or is it?
That's a very bad favorite lane.
Yep, okay.
Batrider beats basically every melee hero, more or less. The only heroes that can handle it are the ones with self-dispels. Once you hit level 3, 4, you should see the Batrider pull ahead. We saw a game yesterday where a Tiny held his ground until level 5 or 6. I believe that was Limp playing Bat against the Tiny of...
Was it Toronto Tokyo?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, it must have been, right? Because it was Alliance against Spirit, yeah. But after that, Tiny was also starting to lose the lane. I think this time around it should be happening faster. We already see Batrider 5 and 3 against the Ember 1 and 0. So definitely losing the first 2 waves hard on Abed.
We've seen a lot of the Magnus success that we've seen, and we've talked about this at length before, is this whole blink skewer back into your team, kind of like the Mars effect. But I'm looking at the lineup here. I'm not saying it's bad necessarily for TNC, but it's not the same kind of effect from the other lineups that were successful. Do you think that matters that much, or is that just like, okay, that works for that lineup, this has its own kind of feel to it?
Well, if I remember correctly, the lineup that you really liked was where there was a Mag Skewer and a Tiny Toss.
Yeah.
This time you have the Mag Skewer and the Lasso, so it's kind of similar, like 2 repositioning spells. And I think it's very important to note how good Skewer is against Abaddon. It's a really, really good counter to this specific defensive hero to reposition the enemy team, because his save is short range. It's very different from playing as Oracle, where sometimes you can still reach your false promise. I think the cast range of a Aphotic Shield, I think, is still 400, I want to say. It's a really, really short cast radius, so... Yeah, just any skewer, especially with the talent, will get heroes way out of the reach of Fly. And I think what EG should be looking for in this game is try to, similar to game number 1, get off to a good start in lanes and then play really fast. Like, you want to take these towers, you want to group up with and use your Timber Saw effectively. But already, compared to game 1, their lanes are not going half as well. They're actually losing all 3 by the looks of it.
Armel
is a slight lead at bottom, actually.
Armel is bodying Abed right now. He has double the CS right now. You talked about that being the advantage for the Batrider, but I mean, how much did you just get? Well, he's going to pressure him here. This would be a pretty big kill if he's able to get it with this much of a disadvantage, but looks like he'll be able to use the tower for cover. I mean, Ember, one of these heroes that, I guess, you even go Flame Guard in this lane. Go into the jungle, we're going to see the spear that you're talking about fly into the tier 1. Impetus to follow and the enchant, and yeah, the tier 1 tower doing most of the damage there. And Bach, or TNC, gets first blood. But what recovery does Abed have for this? Like, how does he come back from this rough start?
So there's 2 general paths Ember will take in a lane like this. Either you start leveling up Flame Guard and you go and farm jungle camps when you can't really lane efficiently anymore. Or you go for a combat-heavy build with slide chains and you have to make moves, and that seems to be the approach he has here. Ember with this build can't jungle very effectively, obviously. You don't have your farming spell, so really has to try to play fast. We'll see. He gets this rune with the 2 in chains. I think Armel not expecting this at all.
Yeah.
If anyone was down here to take the bottom water, that would have actually been really big, but Armel should still be getting it by the looks of it, unless... Just like chains again.
Chains, all right. Double water room for Abed. Can he turn this around into Armel?
It's not going to kill him, but this is still really, really good from Abed.
If this was an Earth Spirit game, he'd probably be dead, right?
Yes, for sure.
There's a big difference here with the line this time. Oh, nice. Initiation onto Gabby in the bot lane. safe for now. Yeah, but Ice next to the tree, so that Wormling Death pure damage is way too much to deal with. As Crit tanking up the tower, actually does get out the Fairy Fire, but still dies in the end.
It seems like for way too long.
Yeah, that
great
was like
surround by Arteezy here.
Yeah. Nice skewer though by Bot.
save.
So Tims shall live through the day. Boom in the meantime. Now he's getting pressured by Ice. I mean, he's level 4, has a couple levels in reactive armor. I mean, the Cold Embrace is a good spell, but against all this pure damage from Ice, especially once he gets 6, it's just not much of a tool, it feels like.
Not the best lane at all for Luna here. That is the one lane where it feels like EG are winning currently. Bach having a great time top on the mag with the help of Enchantress. Mid lane has kind of been equalized from Ovid's double rune take.
Yeah, you're right. Wow.
He has caught up.
Wow.
Batrider had
Armel's gotten 2 last hits, and like our last conversation, he had 15.
He was out of mana.
That's crazy.
Batrider can't see us for anything without mana. It's one of the worst base damages in the game.
Oh, we have another skewer, this time onto Arteezy. This would be a pretty big kill for TNC, but they just don't have enough to finish him off, especially with that Aphotic Shield applied by Fly.
Like a drunk sailor.
As this Treant's out now, as we see a Hex in the bot lane from Crit, but nothing will come of it, although Ice continuing to just pressure as a Wormling Death. Don't think they're going to get the kill here, but he can tank all these creeps, and this is going to be an issue, especially with this siege here. Although it looks like the siege will be aggroed by the tower eventually. I mean, Ice, he's getting a little bit low, but I feel like with 1 TP potentially on the TNC side, they could potentially get this kill, but Ice is not scared of anybody. Going on top of Winnie, there's the TP we're talking about. Crit, looks like the other TP from Arteezy now. They're going to be able to clean up Gabby relatively easily. Now Ice, taking some pressure from Tims. There's the Hex to counteract from Crit. Both Boomy and Tims are pretty low. Arteezy, though, takes an impetus to the back of the head. Looks like he's just going to dodge this. Earth Spike. Actually, the right clicks are enough for Crit. This lane is just getting turned around big time in EG's favor.
This is what carry Nature's
Second kill
can
for
do.
Luna.
It's
Wow.
really crucial.
Or second death for Luna, I should say.
I really like the way Ice is playing this bottom lane. He's playing it to the limit because he knows that if TNC try a little bit too much to counterplay him, that Arteezy TP is available. This is something EG have played a lot, so they're very experienced with playing around that safe lane teleportation coming in. And it pays off big time there. They get the Luna kill, they stay alive on Timber, and they force the TP down from Ench, which in turn frees up top lane for 1v1 for a Baton against Mag. You're going to be able to sit here as a Baton and get some CS and some free experience. So
And in terms of CS, or in terms of net worth at least, Abed has taken the lead over Armel. Neither of which are really, I mean, look at the comparison here. They're just in the middle of the pack, so nothing special from either side. But again, Abed did off to a pretty bad start, so to see him essentially take the lead here, nicely done for EG.
Yep, his skill build now currently 2 and 4. So maxed out Slight for that constant harassment from a distance. Doesn't need to come in close to use the Flame Guard in fights, which in turn keeps him a lot safer against Batrider in general. All right, Armel is thinking about it.
Yep, Firefly already expended. The Sleight of Fist continues to just be a pain in the ass for TNC. RP is available now for Mr. Magnus in that top lane.
Like covering the top lane. It is bottom.
Double Remnant with the Arteezy TP, but they can't really find the chains yet. Abed looks like with that ult from Arteezy is more than enough to net them a kill in the mid lane. And with that Aphotic Shield damage, ends up being a double kill. Now Gabby with the Eclipse, but a lot of it is being tanked by the Treants. Doesn't really matter. He finds the proc and the right clicks that he needs, and with the rotation of Bach, they get a double kill for Boomy of all heroes. Interesting.
He's rich.
Yeah, I guess so.
Let's talk Wyvern quickly. It really has been the hero of the tournament in many ways in the last 2 days. Is this a Locket game or is it a Lens game again? I'm feeling the Locket a bit more here. It should be really good against Carry Nature's Prophet. It's decent against Ember, like decent-ish, especially when he's going the build that he is. You still have to deal with the Timbersaw pure damage and the Lion Finger, but there's more merit to going the healing build this game, so I'm curious to see if that swings him to that build or if he's going to stay on the same path as last game where he went for the Aetherlands and played more around his curse rather than the save.
Armel showing himself here, kind of a baby Timber Chain there. He gets his ult off for now. Armel, there we go with the cancel. Nice lasso. Boomy again. A dominating streak for him. He gets off the curse. It's only going to apply to the lion for now, but here comes Abed from afar. Searing chains.
He didn't cast them.
He didn't cast them, but he's coming with the double remnants. Arteezy as well. With that global TP. We saw this in game 1. Cold Embrace is just going to delay the inevitable. So EG, despite losing Timbersaw, will get the mid lane.
This is the #1 lane counter to Timber, by the way. You really want as Batrider to go to Timber's lane and mess with him. He has no counterplay. When you have Lasso, it's just dead. So Armel with a good rotation, but EG with a good response. Very close so far. Worth keeping in mind, of course, this is a game with Magnus Luna on one team, and the other team's carry is a little bit less characteristic for the patch in that Nature's Prophet. So usually EG, when they're running this lineup, build themselves a big advantage early on, and they have not done that this game. They have a slight one.
Do you think Abed builds a little bit more right-clicky on the Ember Spirit this game than we're used to seeing? I feel like we see kind of variations, maybe even hybrid builds at times, but maybe this is a kind of a blast from the past with more right-click physical damage.
I think it's a bit dangerous if you go too physical because you're playing into Wyvern, right? So maybe some sort of Maelstrom build would be pretty stable, right? Ice.
Oh my goodness.
Force the
Bach has to
RP.
use RP, and he might still be dead if Ice Ice doesn't want to continue on here.
Very nice aggression there.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they're aggressing in another lane as well. Transmit together with the Abaddon, and the Siege Creep is on the way. Already being pinged by Boomy. They need to help defend this mid tower. And that is not a Radiant TP. That's another Nature's Prophet teleport with more Treants.
He is all over the place. Very active Nature's Prophet player.
They're too late.
This is a tier 1. I know the RP is down, so Bach doesn't really pose that much of a threat right now. Gets the shockwave off, but Ice from above. Not going to be able to find a kill, at least not yet.
Great move from EG to get that mid tower. That is very important for them. You want to access the enemy triangle as early as possible. You want to prevent Luna from out-farming the Nature's Prophet by using this area, and they're immediately in here. They're blocking the camp with a sentry. And they do have the luxury of placing Timbersaw here some of the time. The problem is, because of this last pick Batrider, he's still not safe doing it, but he can obviously force rotation.
Does he need to? I
earliest.
mean, I'm guessing he has to get a Lotus.
You
right?
get Hood Lotus this game, I think.
Yeah.
Hood is insane value. He already has that. Queuing up a Soul Ring currently for that farming efficiency, I would imagine. So yeah, I think Hood, Soul Ring, Lotus sounds very good.
Dire's top tower
Early
is about
slight
to
advantage
take
for
the
EG. Another close game. Man, game 1 is such an aberration, it feels like. I mean, EG played well, don't get me wrong, but you think with the elimination, I don't know, I was going to say TNC are feeling nerves because they are quite young in nature, but at the same time, they wouldn't have come back in game 2 like that if they were affected, I feel like. So
and it's not the first series on the main stage that followed that line, right?
Yeah.
Quincy against No Ping was an absolute stomp in game 1. It was 20 minutes long.
Yeah.
And then suddenly No Ping took game 2, and we had a very competitive game 3 for all the right reasons. Top tower.
Gabby with the Massive Madness. Ahmed is here, gets the Searing Chain off. Into the Sleight of Fist. My goodness, that actually is enough damage to get the kill. But here's the Winter's Curse into Lasso, into, everything. Literally 3 ults used to take out Abed, but it is successful, and they get the tier 1 tower as well.
That seems well worth it. Obviously, Eclipse might seem like a big commitment, but the types of fights right now that would happen where Luna connects are few and far in between. That's how you say it nowadays. It's,
Are you okay?
Yeah, it's from it's a TikTok trend. You wouldn't understand. All right, Fly's gonna dive.
That is true. You could always pull that card on me. Ice, and Fly both pressuring Boomy, but he's... I mean, EG doesn't want to make the same mistakes as last game, Synderen. I saw a lot of talk about how they shouldn't have been diving the enemy base, essentially, especially when they were fighting so close to it, but... You know, when the pressure is high, and even with these really experienced teams...
Whoa, Ice, that is a very confident move.
Okay, well, the Finger of Death is going to come in, but there's the Cold Embrace and the mech on top of it from Bach. He's going to use his RP. Only hits on Ice, and the Aquatic Shield just takes everything off. They find the Enchantress. Arteezy is TP'd in.
Firefly on cooldown.
I have no idea how that worked out for EG, but it sure did. Ice is basically back to full HP again.
They must have communicated that Firefly's on cooldown. That is an insane dive if Batrider is ready to fight. Like, if he can just TP in with all spells ready. Even without Lasso, it doesn't even matter. Like, when you're diving in this area, Batrider is just the king of early game Dota, but wasn't able to, so it turns out very nicely for them. They get the finger kill Well, Ice seems to just not care in general about anything. He's just gonna live here.
Yeah.
No steady forced RP, so...
Absolutely.
And obviously, both Lasso and Eclipse being expended up top was part of the decision-making.
Timbersaw as a hero is just hilarious.
Yeah.
Look at this freaking guy.
It's
Doesn't
really
have
funny
much
until
mana.
you play against it. Kind of like Brood.
That's not quite the same. Let's be real. Yep, tier 2 tower getting quite low. Was that a TP cancel there from TNC? So yeah, they're just going to give this up.
I love the way EG is playing this right now. I think this is...
Sleight of Fist Searing Chains into the going to force a potential skewer. Nope, not even needed.
I wonder where he went the mech.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about the mech as well for Bach.
I think it definitely makes sense. It's not like it's a bad item by any means on Magnus in this game. You do have a lot of damage from Batrider and Luna, so you don't have to go damage items, but it at the same time feels like a dagger would pay a lot of dividends in this game.
Yeah.
Just maybe every
Relying on
repositioning skewer.
Batrider a little bit.
Yeah, but that's a little bit dangerous against Ember, Lion, and Abaddon for now. Later on, Batrider can be very much relied upon to get catches in these fights, but with a quick dagger, any skewer on Abaddon, on Lion, on Nature's Prophet should probably lead to kills. The only guy you can't really skewer kill right now is the Ember Spirit. Even Timber you could honestly kill if you skewer him into a bad enough spot.
Armel.
This is a good ward they have here. And he's just seeing Fly, so doesn't look like they're too interested. But they managed to push out top area pretty far, so I would imagine one of EG's heroes will be showing up there, and maybe that could lead them to a cross-map smoke.
I bet. Sleight of Fist does connect on Armel. Has Boots of Travel right now, going towards a BKB, so not opting for a second item Blink. So it looks like that might align with the Blink on Magnus, since the Bat's going to be farming a lot faster. But yeah, Gabby is doing his job.
It actually does get denied. Fly was standing on top of a haste rune and it just got broken by the Enchantress because he wanted to save it. They didn't even pick it up.
Sad.
Not that it would have mattered, just funny.
It looks like Tim's working on Solar Crest himself.
Yeah, interesting
no
highlight
untouchable.
there, yeah. I mean, it is a pretty bad spell this game, to be honest. But he's going to get it now on level 9. Value point mainly against Nature's Prophet, I guess. It's useless against Timber. It's pretty bad against Ember, who hits anyway with Sleight of Fist. And against Abaddon and Lion, you don't really carry there. So I honestly wouldn't even have minded if he didn't skill it at all, to begin with. Like if he would have prioritized maxing both Impetus and...
Ice Flame Break will bring him back into the Lasso and Eclipse. He is quite tanky, but not tanky enough. Why?
They have Abaddon.
Yeah,
why isn't he just saving him?
Well, if he had a global cast range on Aphotic Shield, then it would be a very good counter, I think. As a tier 1 tower will be taken by TNC as well.
I just realized they have a 3k gold lead.
Yeah,
that happened really suddenly. Just Luna out farming on the map. Obviously, Magnus and Power might be playing a little bit of a role in ramping up her speed with that damage. And, I mean, obviously a little bit tongue-in-cheek there with the Abaddon comment. If he is in range, he can save there. It's just, it's really hard to always be in the right spot at the right time as Abaddon.
No, you just right-click your carry.
Like, the thing is, even if he is there,
around everywhere.
There's no guarantee that this happens anyway. Like, they can coordinate some sort of a lasso grab into a Lucent Beam on Abaddon, right? Like, anything that just stops him for a moment. And Timbersaw is out of range because Batrider has way more move speed than the Abaddon does with these travels. You can just pull him away. So you literally need to have your Aphotic Shield ready and be within the cast range when the lasso happens, or you're...
Yep.
Very, very limited space.
You know, back in the day, Mistcoil used to have a short range, and Aphotic Shield had a long range.
Oh, that's when Abaddon was the first pick in Dota 1. I remember. That was... He had 800 cast range on Shield, I think. Oh, that was so good.
Now you need Aether Lens and Seer Stone, and you need a tier 5 item to
all the cast range
that.
items obviously didn't exist back then, so having an 800 range hard save, I believe Oracle wasn't even a hero.
No,
Abaddon was incredible for a while.
I mean, Gabby is starting to run away with this game right now, Cinder. I mean, he has played like an absolute beast throughout this entire tournament. I think he's been the most consistent member, maybe Tim's as well, but like from a carry perspective, I feel like Gabby has really, really impressed so far.
And I wonder what carry Nature's Prophet's win rate is when you reach the 20-minute mark and you're behind on gold. It can't be that good. Like, their team is behind by 3k, and Nature's Prophet himself is behind the Luna. Like, in my experience, every successful carry Nature's Prophet game, he's top of the network. Basically the whole way. He has a global teleport with, like, no cooldown, so you can farm more than almost any hero in Dota most of the time.
Might tank this game. Yep. Wow, that was quite quick indeed. I mean, is there a power spike for each respective team? I mean, the double blink eventually will come for both the Magnus and the Batrider, and I feel like that is kind of time for TNC. And then for EG, what exactly is their timing? Because
I feel like
that Lotus on Timber, that's not really... I mean, he's not even going for it.
That's the problem that I have with this lineup, is that I don't see the next timing that is stronger than TNC's counter timing, right? Like, what item are you looking at? Is it a Hex on Nature's Prophet, maybe? Is it some sort of overwhelming damage that he can somehow farm? He's going BKB because he needs to be able to stand his ground against bad Luna. So has to do that pit stop defensive item. And that, in turn, just means Luna just keeps over-farming him that much more.
Yeah.
I think...
Arteezy gets a little bit of vision on Armel, but... and the other thing is getting these BKBs is Bach. Oh, it gets the RP off after the Timber Chain back into him. Now Ice is in a lot of trouble. Pops the Essence Ring. Timber Chain to the other side. Gets a Photic Shield.
Good
Looks
save.
like he is fine. Abed is here as well with that Sleight of Fist onto a couple of heroes. He's going to take a solo curse. Won't last particularly long. Gets the Remnant off in time. Crit with a nice Impale onto 2. And there's the burst damage with the Timber Chain into the Impale. But there's the Eclipse to follow. Double kill for Arteezy to start this fight as both the Luna and Wyvern have dropped.
That is EG's timing. Outplay.
Yeah, I guess so.
That is, they really needed that. So RP being expended and not leading to a kill, Ice barely surviving with the Essence Ring into a Photic Shield off the edge of the fight. And when Armel came in, immediately gets stopped by crit. That was just basically flawless from EG in that instance, and they needed something like that. I feel like they are relying on outplay with their strategy currently, and this time around it works, and that's a big reward. They get the carry and the Roche. Wonder if you give the Aegis to Abed or Arteezy. I think you give it to Abed, but
I think that's what
that is why they're giving it to Arteezy.
All right, excellent analysis as always.
Yep. Okay, they're back.
Yes, they are. I mean,
Nature's Prophet just caught up.
It's not just that fight. Oh, we might get some more kills on top of this. Armel getting chased by Arteezy. Can't hide in the trees for too long. Crit with that Blink Dagger. There's the Earth Spike. And the right clicks will suffice. So a huge kill from EG on top of the already one team fight and Roshan that they just got. So a lot of momentum on their side.
That's a BKB for Arteezy with this kill.
So talk to me about, I mean, I know you need to get BKB, but obviously there is Lasso, there is RP to counteract, even Curse. They have 3 BKB piercing ults.
Yeah.
How big of an issue is that? Or is it just like you just have to kind of kite them a bit?
It's definitely an issue. You do still have the Abaddon, right, who can try to solve it if you're not BKB'd when you do get RP'd, or... yeah, so it's still a problem, but I don't think buying BKB is wrong here. Nature's Prophet's abilities to stand and deliver in this game really largely depends on not dying to collateral damage. There's just too much of that against Wyvern, Bat, Luna. So I do think Arteezy's itemization in this game is good. Once again, the concern is just that he wasn't ahead. But now that they've equalized it, I see a way after that fight and the Aegis for EG to buy enough time that they can maybe reach a small timing where they're just stronger than the Radiant lineup. But a lot of it comes down to, are you playing around Lasso correctly? Are you playing around RP correctly? And so far, in these last few minutes, EG have definitely done a very good job.
RP is back up, though. You can see Gabby actually in the tree line. He's going to pop his Manta to try to cut this wave a bit. Still, I was going to say still top net worth, but actually no. Arteezy has just overtaken him for now.
Crit opting to TP up here to kill 2 illusions. Maybe he instantly TP'd when he saw the first illusion run in, thinking Gabby might have been cheeky enough to go for the real cut, but obviously understanding the importance of creep waves here, and will complete it to kill off these 2 illusions just so that wave gets to move. And they get that more map pressure coming out.
They're trying to
Still,
bring down Radiant's top
even with that Aegis, I still like TNC's position in the game. But EG, in terms of the map right now, have managed to really get a bit of a foothold now on the enemy side. So TNC will need to find a big fight to get a little bit of map control back.
And with this Aegis, EG is going to be pretty comfortable to poke some of these towers. Looks like they'll go for the tier 2 mid since there is a full wave here, although they are scanned. I don't know, with this Aegis, I would assume you want to take some sort of a fight, but it actually really is hard to play into all these ults, as DNC is not afraid to fight, despite not having the Aegis themselves. BKB now online for Gabby, so that is a pretty giant item to have for your position 1.
All TNC needs is a lasso or a skewer on Nature's Prophet. He dies twice.
Are you surprised there's no blink on
Oh,
Armel?
Arteezy's actually farming this camp. This could be really, really bad.
Yeah,
They're gonna find him.
they see him, sticky napalm to start things out. Flame break actually pushes him a little bit, pops his BKB, but of course there's the lasso into the right clicks of Gabby. Arteezy gets off his ult, but that is just the Aegis. Reinforcements are on the way. They're starting to connect here. As Abed, there's the Eclipse, and yeah, Arteezy just getting decimated. Fly can't even get there in time. Pops his ult a little bit prematurely. Tries to get a Photic Shield onto Ice, but there's the RP there. Is the cancel with the Photic Shield to follow. Now the Winter Skirts onto 2. Looks like they'll find Bach at the very beginning of this fight. Fight might actually extend here. 4v4 without their position 1 Nature's Prophet. Abed still with that Flame Guard applied. Trying to chase somebody down in the meantime, but you see the Finger of Death used to take out Tim's. Gabby finds his escape inside the tree line. And now the chase looks like it's on Armel, but that Firefly is back up. And the consolation for EG might just have to be booming.
That went better for EG than I thought it would. They do get Arteezy twice, but the 3 return kills with RP, Eclipse, and Lasso used. Fly had really good positioning there against the RP, and obviously his hero is very good against Mag, because you can get RP together with your carry, immediately pop your ult, and then shield. So made sure to nullify that.
Arteezy BK beat on the first life, right?
Yes. And I
feel like you maybe saved that for the second life.
Don't think that really mattered.
No?
No, I don't think so. But maybe it would have been a little bit better the other way around, but in the end, I think his team would have been late to save him regardless. But yeah. EG do get something out of their Aegis. It is a small victory for them, but obviously the big story here for TNC is Luna survived. So she will be progressing even further. Her itemization, going for a pipe now,
yeah,
it looks like.
I feel like against Sprout, you kind of have to. You don't want to get stuck inside these annoying trees.
Yeah, he wants to replace that quelling slot as well.
And plus, once Shard is online for Nature's Prophet, you
that is true.
The Quelling Blade doesn't do anything. Just becomes a greater treant that you have to fight instead. So AC looks to be next for Arteezy. Obviously, going to be really good for not only tankiness, but to provide extra damage for these building hittings and hero hittings as well, as they call it. But yeah, talk about this Ice build. So he's going to go for, actually no, he changed his itemization again. Was going to go for the Lotus, but went for the Sage Kaya first, and then had Lotus queued up, but now changing his mind again.
It's going to disassemble into Bloodstone plus Halberd against Luna, maybe?
This does look like a disassemble play, potentially.
It's not too bad. I still like the Lotus a lot in this game. I feel like it has a lot of merits. It's a really good item against Wyvern. It's a really good item against Bat. But yeah, maybe he feels like he needs to play more for himself. Like, he's concerned that even if Arteezy's having a good game, that Nature's Prophet needs more damage assistance in the late game, so he might be building himself up to be more of a like carry style. And that you just don't get that the same way with Lotus Orb as you do with the Bloodstone. So that could be the thing here.
A couple
Enchanted
of really,
Quiver.
yeah, that's a couple of nice
Sliver for EG. Okay, we'll give that to. Well, will he keep that on Nature's Prophet? Maybe he will.
I think so. I mean, you have status resistance on Timber. Ember has a lot of escape mechanisms. Arteezy really just has TP, but a lot of ways to deal with it if you're TNC. So the extra status resistance. Although now he has Enchanted Quiver, so I guess you gotta choose.
He could give that to Ember. Quiver. Elven Tunic as well. Man, so many options.
Not a whole lot of options.
Tunic is not that good this game.
It's just against the right clicks of Luna, really.
Yeah.
And I guess Impetus to some degree.
It's okay, but I think the other two items are both better.
Top tower is about
So he's probably going to keep the Sliver, I would imagine.
Assembled AC now for Arteezy. The next Roche, we won't know for 50 seconds. And as usual, that will be a big turning point potentially in the game.
Tim's is trying to force a reaction top. That could be his demise if he stays around a little bit longer, but a good read. We'll be backing out here. The smoke from EG will not find anything.
Tomato dies of its own accord. How sad. Yeah, 8-second BKB still for Armel. Okay, yeah, talk to me again. He finally gets the Blink Dagger. So it was the third item. Does that surprise you at all? I mean, we've seen it before, but in this particular game, especially when Magnus doesn't go for a Blink right away, is that surprising? Or do you think it's just they're trying to align the items?
I think it's fine.
Be together.
BKB on Bat is a mandatory item in this game, in my opinion. You need to be able to play around Ember and Lion. It really enables you to use Firefly effectively in fights, so I think most players in this tournament would have gone the same order on Amid that.
TNC is smoked.
This is really big for them if they can find the Lion and Ember first. They get a really good attack angle by coming in behind. They see this with night vision. Crit could be in trouble.
Yeah, initiation there, but nice searing chains to stop him in place, but it's not going to matter. It'll still be the death of Crit. So a 4v5 situation now as EG's on the run. Fly has to aquatic shield himself, which means RPing could be pretty value here, but there, Arteezy going to town onto Tims to start this fight out. Bak already forced out by Abed. There's a Winter Scarce that's going to be applied onto 3 heroes for EG. And Abed basically solo kills Bak and no RP even expended. And now Ice basically unkillable. Just going to go right into Gabby, who pops his BKB inside that Sprout. Locked off now, has to TP out. Will be successful. Question is, can EG find AniMajor after this? Tim's getting chased. Will be connected on, and that should be the death of Tim. So a 2-for-1, despite having, I mean, that was really good play by Abed. Just being isolated from his team and killing the Magnus right away.
He understood what the one way he can win this fight for his team is to make sure there's no RP ever going off. And he did that perfectly. He just sat on the map the whole fight until he was dead. And I thought that was going to be a great start for TNC, and so did they, right? You kill the Lion, he's not buying back.
Beam actually connects mid-timber chain for Ice. He's still
Albert?
quite tanky. Fly is there for the heals. Yeah. Okay, so he took it apart and makes a Bloodstone Halberd.
He's going apart.
Interesting. Okay. Really doesn't care about Lotus this game. That's very surprising, but still cool to see. You're gonna get tons of regen.
Maybe he trusts that the Abaddon shield is enough, but you know, look, if you're not buying BKB on Timber, you're obviously a very easy target for Fly to shield convincingly, but...
Oh, Lucent Beam into the Skewer, back into enemy lines. Fly, they're kind of scared. We're getting some retribution here, but yeah. Looks like they'll find him in the end, but Ice jumps in pretty deep. Impetus is there. Remember, no save now because Fly is dead. This is going to cost Ice his life, so maybe a little bit miscommunication from EG.
That was ugly.
And now Roche is alive, so this is really good timing for TNC.
Yep.
It does have the double damage pop, though.
They still have RP as well, so...
Yeah.
Oh, just barely out of
If
range.
this misses there, but this will be a Roche attempt. Gabby.
They have Solar Gusts. I think they can do this in time before the Timber spawns.
30 seconds? Yes. I think they can kill this in 30 seconds.
Well, it would be slowed down a lot if Ember came and poked them, right? But if EG are not delaying, this happens in time. They're finally going to scout it out now and see that it's half.
Yeah, no buybacks though.
This is such a big mistake from EG to lose their Timber there.
Yes.
This is Roche number 2.
He's in. The Sprout. They're actually going to connect now. There's the RP on top of the BKB, but a nice impale from Line into the Finger of Death. Blows up Armel. Winter's Curse only on 1. Somehow EG is forcing TNC out. Not even a Roche taken. And now Ice is up. And this is going to be a free Roche for EG. Are you serious? That is Aegis, that is Cheese, that is Shard, which is actually taken by Arteezy. So now the Sprout will spawn 2 greater Treants.
I remember like 40 seconds ago when you were making fun of me for implying that TNC might not be able to do that.
They stepped out of the pit. They got cute with themselves, Cinderin, all right?
Yeah, not a too big fan of that RP, to be honest. I don't know if Armel's BKB was on cooldown, but Crit with a really heads-up stun made sure Bad Rider had no impact in that fight. You gotta remember, TNC, yeah, you're going into that pit and you got the 2 kills, but you committed a lot of spells for the previous fight.
Yeah.
You used Lasso as well as Eclipse just to kill the Timber. So if you're opting to take that fight outside of the pit, half of your strength isn't even available to you, so... I do think, I mean, it's easy to say in hindsight, they should have stayed in that pit and killed the Roche. Like, even if Arteezy comes in, you finish the Roche as part of the fight, and then you hope you can disengage, or you don't take the fight at all. But it is so easy for us from our perspective.
Yeah, because we have all the vision, all the information.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
That is a very tricky position to be in, but what a great play from Arteezy to go and defend that, knowing how important that is and that he could pull it off.
Absolutely. I mean, that's a 6K swing, essentially. I think it was really even at that point.
It was.
Second Roche, obviously, a really big deal. Now, EG kind of in the driver's seat for the time being. Of course, I mean, if you look at this late game, Luna is a monster. We'll see if Gabby can pull this out or not. So now 4K behind, or 3K behind, just between the 2 position ones.
It's about to complete clutter.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
Obviously, when you do have Empower, it increases the value a lot of having both stat items and crit. So He's getting there, but
He's satanic out of nowhere. My God,
he got a lot of gold out of that fight.
Radiant's middle
giant.
tower just healed over.
Speaking of, those greater tree ants are freaking awesome. What a cool shard, I have to say. If you're playing against Jenkins, it's pretty annoying because he doesn't play position 1. Worthless position 5 that just TPs into the trees,
Yep,
makes them, and then TPs away with his boots of travel.
He buys Meteor Hammer Shard.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have like one guy in your friend group that does that on Nature's Prophet, and when Prophet banned that guy probably plays techies. That's true. We all know a guy.
Abby does officially have the butterfly,
And
he can actually drop his boots because of the spider legs.
Yes,
now.
exactly. He has spider legs, so has that access to an additional slot where he doesn't need to go boots. Just like you're a fan of Flicker as a tier 4 item, I think for carries, this is my pick for a late game tier 3 item, that's for sure.
Yeah, and if you don't get one dropped, it feels extremely bad. RTZ, another couple minutes on this Aegis. They definitely want to make use of this, as now Ice working on a Shiva's. Already has the plate mail in his inventory, so super tank mode now. He's the third most farm on the entire map. I mean, I have to admit, Abed, in terms of the farm, has not been stellar this game. I mean, he's making a lot of space, though. I think that's kind of his job.
Sure.
Going towards an Aghanim Scepter. So he's holding the cheese right now, as there's the smoke now from EG.
Good read there from TNC to back off. They are going to dodge this entirely.
Remember, this is an elimination game. Whoever loses this game is out of the tournament.
Well, still needs to find his way out of this now. Could get blinked on by Lion.
Flying. Ortiz gets some vision.
Good movement.
Doesn't have a sheep. I made that a little too hype.
Roots and
Well,
rock.
if Ember
Radiant are scanning for
could have
enemy.
connected some slight chains or something, that could have got exciting. But on range.
Right, we're at that 35-minute mark. Arteezy TP's in. Wow, Bach. Whew. Right, next RT. This could be big kill. RP is up. He has vision here. Gonna see Fly. Aquatic shield applied to himself. Gabby spider legging himself through the tree
Bizarre
line.
pathing I've seen. There's like 2 choruses running through the bottom trees.
Yeah, it is an insanely good item, no doubt
is
about it.
under attack.
I mean, if there was an item that was just boots, without any special effect, it would be a really good neutral item. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know.
Make a little just with his boots.
Is about to flounder.
Crazy spider like this gives you that extra. I mean, it turns your turn rate into 1.0, I think, right? Or at
It gives
least it is
terrain
the-
walking, better turn, better move speed. It's very strong.
You will be working Satanic. Just a Reaver away. Now, okay, does Gabby save for buyback, or does he just buy this Satanic? He just buys the Satanic. So if he dies, the game might just end. Especially
I think
against
he's not gonna buy the Satanic. Yeah.
All right, what does he go for now? Do you just consume an Ags? You replace your boots, I guess, like we talked about. You can go for a Satanic, perhaps?
I really like
the
the
Scotty, I mean.
on Luna. I really like the data list because you have Empower. I think they need more. They need more damage right now. It is the way that they've built their lineup, right? You have a Magnus offlane, but he's going full utility items. He didn't just get them back. He went Mech, Blink, Glimmer, Lens. This guy does not deal damage. Box build is fully utility. And Armel, the mid-Bat Rider, kind of fell off a little bit, so his damage is also not fully reliable. So Luna needs to hit very hard. So I fully agree with Daedalus. I think it's the right choice.
Okay.
Some ground to cover, though. EG don't seem too successful in finding moves in this last 5 minutes. Even with the advantage that they had with that Aegis cheese, haven't really converted it into much. TNC are reading the map very well and avoiding these rotations.
You can see Abed now building towards the Aeon Disc. Has his Aghanim Scepter already, so that just makes his remnants mega fast, essentially. And then the Shard, it's kind of a weird one. I can't tell if this one's good. It just applies like a little damage over time to your remnants, and then if somebody dies around them, you get another one or something like that, right? So, I don't know. I feel like there's better stuff to get. I've yet to actually see this one in a meaningful game, so we'll see how it works out if you're able to. I mean, do you prioritize that over Aeon Disc? Because that's what it looks like right now.
I don't know. I personally think you should buy the disc. But it's not a terrible card, but it is very snowball oriented.
All right, Bach. RP available. He has gotten a few solo RP. This is an off-lane match, of course, but went for full utility, like you said, and the RPs for the most part have been on single heroes, or
And it's
just
been
haven't
on
been meaning.
Timber.
Yeah.
I feel like it's just been on Timber too much.
Yeah.
Hasn't really. I mean, it's also obviously also credit to EG for being really good at stepping up and getting RP, but I definitely think Bok has panicked a little bit in key moments and just been like, okay, I have to RP this Timber, when as a matter of fact it wasn't really necessary.
Radiant's
A
middle
lot of
tower can't handle this
And
damage.
when you play this utility route, a lot of the time when you RP, a Cure could have sufficed, and you can keep your like key spell, follow up.
Right. New record broken. 505,000. Wow, look at that.
That beats out the Chongqing Major.
Wow, congratulations, WePlay. They breaking bunch of records today.
Exclamation mark AniMajor,
That's right.
I think.
Sure. It's not the Boston Major. I think we've established that.
That is correct.
Wow, look at this. Tim's is actually queuing up for an MKB right now. Wow. He has so much money.
Again, more damage. You realize what your win condition is in the game and what the strengths of EG's lineup are. If you can get there, I mean, my win expectancy for TNC is not going down by the minute if this gold doesn't go up significantly. Like, I don't think EG are building a very major advantage in the current state of the game. They didn't get to use their Aegis. They have a cheese to bring to the next fight, but a 7k experience lead and gold lead, sorry. The experience lead is a bit bigger than that. It's not as big as it is in other games because of the matchup.
Right.
So, Treant HP plus damage on is coming out now, though. So Arteezy's split push is way more impactful.
Yeah, so those great
that's good
applies
news
to
for
the
that.
greater treants as well, right? So that's pretty powerful stuff. I mean, the remove cooldown on teleportation is pretty annoying too, but it is a position 1, so you're not really being like this full split pushing type, right? So cool to see this stuff. That's yeah, look at that, 2,500 HP on a greater treant with
170 damage.
Wow.
Yeah, they're strong.
Even the regular treants, that's a lot of HP.
Luna is still one of the better carries of dealing with this though.
But she has to be there. So
Leave them down.
all right. Ems being chased down. Oh my god, getting bursted like none other. Will survive for now, but the final flight of fist finishes them off. And there is the buyback onto the enchantment. So the RP on the 2 into the double skewer. The satanic pop by Gabby as he pops that CQB, and now the lasso applied to Arteezy. Looks like he will finally go down. Does have buyback. Now puts can TP back into this fight. So it's a 2 for 1. And now the buybacks galore coming out. Arteezy's still holding on to his. Grit ends up finding his way to the grave. Does not want to buy back. It looks like EG maybe looking to back off here. But Abed's still aggressing. Illusion's still doing some damage to him.
Guess what? Look, he's jumping
Where
right
he
now.
goes to. All right,
He's
clean the
TPing.
TP with that sleight of fist. It is enough. Nice play there. So it only cost them 1 buyback, whereas TNC gets 2. That's going to be pretty big. And of course,
Dire's bottom tower.
again, Nature's Prophet's one of these heroes that is one of the best buyback heroes in the game, but just didn't feel like it was the right moment.
Yeah. Just look at how long it took them to kill Arteezy, but they do manage to put it just barely before the cheese comes out.
Yeah.
Half a second later there, and that is a very one fight for EG.
Dire's bottom tower
Gabby,
is
so
about
he's getting caught out now.
to
Ice it there. Nice and pale from Crit. See the data, so actually he picked up his bot. Skewers Crit back in, but there's Finger of Death. Luna shall survive for now. Abed trying to chase him. The buyback onto Arteezy, so using it now. Gabby trying to find an avenue in which to get out. He's going to get stuck inside Sprout. Pops the BKB, attempting to TP on a nice skewer from Bok to save his Luna, but he won't be able to save himself. A double kill for Abed. And Roshan number 3 is alive and ready to be taken. This one has Aegis or Refresher Shard.
That is correct.
It has one of the 2. And it is a man. Why is it never Axe? Come on. I mean, how is this how good is this shard this game?
Not the best,
It's
right?
pretty bad. Yeah, that's actually real bad. I mean, it's going to be mostly used for BKBs at this stage.
It's good on Ember for the Remnant Burst, right? That's it. But there's, I mean, we're underplaying it. It is actually very good on Ember, but
Right.
you don't have that like crazy, let's say like double black hole or chrono or whatever, like the insane teamfight control. But it is a lot of burst on Ember. He can throw out 5 remnants and then do it again for an insane spell burst.
And it gets 2 Aeon discs. Very nice. I mean, it actually could come in handy, but... All right, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, EG with an 8K net worth lead now, starting to slip away a bit, but you can see that TNC still has a lot of this team fight, and
They do.
Gabby is gigantic.
And they have a clear win. Like, it's really important for EG to get Roche there. If this doesn't result in a Roche, I think that's a very big loss, even though they got the kill on Mag plus Bat, because you're exposing yourself to a clear path to victory for the enemy team, which is killing Nature's Prophet, right? Arteezy's buyback being expended to ensure this fight was really crucial, so getting the Aegis here is very, very important. And I would imagine when Aegis expires, the overlap before he has buyback is probably something like a minute and a half, so the window of opportunity is very small.
Yeah.
So it's actually 2 minutes. You can see there the difference, 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So a little bit more. I would love to see TNC go for that play. Like, as soon as Aegis drops, try to kill the Nature's Prophet and win the game that way. But it is a narrow timing window. It's high risk. But if they pull, could be their birth to a top 6. And for EG, keep map controlling, trying to build your advantage. Going high ground is just so hard for their lineup. Like,
It is.
it's terrifying because the only hero that can really deal any structural damage is Nature's Prophet. If he exposes himself, he'd get skewered. And then things get real bad. So either you have to... Obviously, you're playing against a Mag who I believe he's not even going BKB, I think. Which means every time he blink skewers someone, if crit is quick on the counter hex, they can stop the skewer into towers against Arteezy, but it's very high reaction time play, it's very high coordination play. And that is the only way I see EG sieging the base.
Yeah.
Even Timbersaw dies if he gets skewered. I don't know if he has this. He doesn't even have the shard, but let's say he had it.
Another new record, 529,000.
That beats out Epicenter Major.
Very nice. Congratulations, WePlay again. So, again, the biggest issue for TNC, yeah, you're right, the high ground defense is unbelievable, but they really only have one core with a lot of farm. Like, look at the next 3 are EG.
Yep.
Like, everything is all in right now in Gabby.
It is. There's room to grow, obviously, for Armel, but there's not much room to grow for Mag. Okay.
Oh, Magnus! No. Nice attempt there for Bach, but again, showing the prowess that is this lineup for TNC. It's even with like these Nature's Prophet Greater Treants that are poking left and right, you just can't commit, it feels like.
And that play, honestly, that play from Bach didn't exist. The best outcome there is that he forces a disc, right? They have to lasso the Ember after disc, but I don't think they can proc the disc without using lasso, so it's kind of...
That's awkward.
It's hard.
Abed wants to go in here, gets the sleight of stuff. Man has already popped by Gabby. Abed, he's just trying to force BKBs at this point.
Oh, they're
actually committing
disc with Arctic Burn.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty annoying for Abed.
This is a part of Wyvern late game that you can't underestimate. It's a support that deals percentage-based damage by just attacking every hero one time. Like this, it is a lot of damage.
Yeah.
He hits Ember one time there, and I think he did like 700-800 damage with the Wyvern, and that proc the disc, so...
Another new record. How many records are we going to hit today? What is this for? Which tournament as we play Epicenter? Is this a different Epicenter?
We beat Epicenter again!
Epicenter! Yeah! Anywho. Is this a game where EG is just waiting for the next Roche? Because like you talked about the timing on the Aegis with the buyback potential on Arteezy, a little bit of separation there. Don't want to commit too hard. If he gets killed twice, that's 2 minutes with a Luna pushing down your base.
I think this is just EG identifying that they can't high ground, so they're just trying to maximize farm, right? Arteezy's farming his half of the map. Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot of damage.
They're gonna sell him here.
They're gonna sell him. That's the thing. But yeah, they're gonna kill him, no doubt.
Is that not a saying?
I don't think so. Not in these times, at least. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm not from those areas.
I'm thinking, okay, so maybe that's
middle tower can't handle
the
this.
thing.
Kuala Lumpur, Major.
Kuala Lumpur.
All
I
right.
see. I don't know. The reason I'm so convinced that's a saying is that, I mean, it could just be a Danish thing, but I'm hearing maybe it's a thing in multiple languages, because I've heard other people say it in European pubs even.
Cinder, you've corrected me on English many times, so I will doubt you
I
anymore.
am not questioning myself whatsoever. You are wrong, no matter if you're right.
Yeah, Tim's has the enchant Ancients talent
take
now,
a
so you get
big boy.
extra HP thanks to Mr. Ancient Granite Golem himself. Very slow, methodical, but...
So what are the best Ancients he can get in this game?
not the dragon. Wait, what is it? Is the dragon?
Dragon is armor aura
plus the spell.
So how's the frenzy again?
I heard the prowler's pretty good. Oh, Abed gets the searing chain. Start things off. Again, we got to be careful here. I'm not sure if RTZ quite has his buyback yet. He gets Lucent Beam. Remnant is out for now. Just double Remnanting away. Man, this is a tense game. Elimination game for either team. Could honestly go any way because TNC just has a superior team fight, unquestionably. EG has the advantage right now in terms of net worth, but is there a certain point where this starts to tape, like if the game just extends without any high ground pushing, and it just favors one team or the other?
Is Abed gonna?
He's doing his usual. I mean, this is the Aghanim Scepter in a nutshell. He can just be everywhere, it feels like.
They killed Armel. What? Crit and Arteezy got the job done.
Armel is dead, and Gem is on the ground, and now Abed from long range. I don't think out the Weimer quite yet. He has to cold embrace himself, but there's the Earth Spike to follow. Abed has plenty of remnants to go. Absolutely. It's fine. There's a buyback, of course, on Armel.
Nice pick from EG.
And they take out that very ancient granite golem. Very important.
This is what Abed is able to do by playing like this. He's drawing a lot of attention to himself. It's just annoying. You know, he's jumping around, forcing them to worry about him, and in the meantime, Arteezy and Crit with that long duration stun lockdown with Lion are able to find Bat pushing out that bottom lane.
Right.
So it's a little bit of something. It's not a game-defining kill by any means, but it does build their advantage. And killing Bat is honestly really good because his item progression is still very relevant. His next item looking to be Aeon Disc.
Yeah.
And he has room to grow. I think, like, comparatively, let's say you would have killed the Magnus there, I don't think it would have mattered half as much.
So, talking
Luna's
about
10K
this,
gold.
yeah, Gabby has a Scotty queued up. I'm not even sure what you replace it. Do you just keep it in your inventory and then pop it in when BKB is already activated? Or I'm not sure what the play. I mean, the other thing, I've seen this so many times with Eternal Envy, where your position one just takes all the farm and nobody else is really coming close to getting their next itemization. Do you think that's
I'd like
an
him to
issue?
buy Axe. Nice. Okay, he just switched.
Okay.
I think that's the best item here. You have to realize at this point that how do you get the most damage per gold, right? Like, it's still just, you're looking for damage, you're looking for a way to win fights. If you have this Aghanim Scepter, every RP does so much more damage because you have that guaranteed placement thing. You can put it on Bat, you can put it on yourself, on the ground, on Magnus. All of these options are good to go in. And I think it was between this and a Moon Shard for me, just because, yeah, you can optimize your build a little bit, but just adding extra slots feels like the highest value, right?
Right. Especially when it's actually a good axe, too.
I feel like most of the time when I see carries sell an item to buy another item this long into the game, I think it's usually a mistake over buying either Scepter or Shard.
I agree. And they're just delaying time again.
This? No, not quite.
Roshan,
Orb.
number 4 is alive. This
might
one
get-
will have the Ags and the refresher.
You're getting your 60-minute game here, Shannon, I'm pretty sure.
Yes. Thank you,
This game
Gaben.
is so hard for both teams to end. It could go really, really far.
Yeah, it's going to be like 10 buybacks. It's going to be a good one.
Oh, Hex.
All right. Nothing comes out.
Do you want to start theorizing a little bit what items you're hoping for each team?
You want to start now at the 52-minute mark and jinx the game, Cinder? Is that what you're saying?
Honestly, looking at this game, I would actually be very surprised if we don't
Okay,
see
well, I would say Hurricane Pike or Apex for Luna.
What's the Hurricane Pike? Ballista?
Ballista. I always call it Hurricane Pike. I don't know why.
I don't know either. It's
But yeah,
pretty stupid.
Ballista is pretty insane. I mean, it's not the best hero for it. It's pretty good, though. But I think Apex, just the extra agility, just
What about
one of the
Pirate
crazy
Hat for
items.
Luna?
Yeah, so AUI was talking to me about Pirate Hat. Pirate Hat's basically a Moon Shard. Moon Shard's 140 attack speed, so it's a Moon Shard for free.
And it's 1,000 GPM.
Right, and the GPM thing is the crazy thing, because that was changed a while back. It used to be a little bit different, but be able to dig every once in a while, and at this stage of the game.
60 minutes in, a bounty rune is about, I want to say it's like 150 gold per player.
Yeah.
And it's on a 40-second cooldown.
Right.
So you effectively give your team about 1,000 GPM, something in that ballpark, maybe a little bit more even.
I mean, if you have your, like, if you're all in on this Luna, then maybe Mirror Shield is the best item. Gives
Mirror
you
Shield's good.
Ton of armor, or is that the attributes? I can't remember. No, it's attributes, I think.
Ex Machina gives the armor.
Yeah, yeah.
SO2, perhaps. I'm hearing an axe.
And this actually pops the RP onto 2 heroes. Looks like Magnus is going to die right off off the bat, though. There's the Eclipse. It's the Aghanims one, so it's going to deal extra damage. Cheese is popped by Ice, but he's continuing to get beamed down by this Eclipse. Finally, the Winter's Curse comes out. Buyback onto the Magnus. Nobody has died for EG yet, as Bloodstone is popped on the meantime onto Ice. Oh my god, the Blink crit actually disjoints that. Tims goes down. This will provide another buyback opportunity for TNC. EG still not able to get much else out of this as Luna. Okay, that is a buyback now. EG is actually not losing anybody in this fight. Hobbit in the meantime has his remnant out. It's walking up very slow to the high ground. Will make it in time.
Dieback on Magnus.
That is a dieback on Magnus, buyback on Enchantress. Luna, I mean, they can't go. They have to go for high ground to force this out or to get that 4th Roche or both.
They're going to get 4th Roche first, I think. That was...
Under attack.
How did they not lose anybody?
Aeon Disc.
My god.
Aeon Disc on crit. They didn't manage to get him down. Oh, he did buyback actually, so never mind. I didn't even notice he died. He did buyback and connect back into the fight in the end. But yeah, huge win for EG. We were talking about neutral items, and all of a sudden, they were like, stop thinking about minute 60.
Oh boy.
They want to try to win it before. They have a minute here to maybe force out this Luna buyback.
Oh my god, they actually took the Ags on Nature's
It is good. Wow. It is a good Axe.
I feel like chalk, double chalk. Oh, he already has that.
He bought it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well. See, this is buyback on a Gabby for sure, but it's going to be a 4v5 regardless. Finger of Death finishes off Boomy. Does have buyback and a Winter's Curse still. There you see the double chalk on. They have to save Gabby. This is their entire team right now. But in the meantime, they're going to focus on the Enchantress. That is a dieback onto Tip. Bloodstone popped by Ice inside the Sprout. Gabby able to get out in time. Winter's Curse not really doing too much. Looks like they'll all survive through this. And this is still 5 members of EG alive and healthy. And they could just go for Throne now. I don't even know if they go for Megas at this point, knowing that there's a dieback, although Magnus is coming up in 10 seconds. Buyback's still available on Armel. Arteezy has to pop that Satanic, keep a little bit more healthy here. Gabby in the meantime trying to defend, but that's 2 racks instantly taken by EG. Buyback now into Armel, so 4v5. 40k net worth advantage for EG. Let's see how safe they play this. They, of course, still have Aegis for 4 minutes, so not really scared of anything. And look how much space Ice can provide. And they're just pounding into this Rax. This is going to be Mega Crypts at the very least. But there's the skewer back. Can they kill Arteezy? Pops the BKB still. Has Satanic. Has Aegis. Has literally everything online. 3 dead for TNC. All their hopes and dreams were on Gabby, but he just could not provide enough damage. And they just focus on everybody else instead. And EG will continue on in the tournament. TNC eliminated. What a freaking game. Arteezy in the fountain. Looks like they're going to clean up everybody. GGs are called.
I told you it would go past 60 minutes. I knew
Thanks
it.
for jinxing it, Cinderin,
You are very
as
welcome.
always. I hate you.
Man, that was so sudden. They just find this one moment, and that's late game Dota for you right there. Like when the heroes get this crazy, when you get this far, all of a sudden, all it takes is that one key moment. And EG, they find it. I think in the end, what came back to bite TNC a little bit in this game, or a lot, is lack of damage, right? It's the Luna. The Luna is doing all of the attacking. Magnus is full utility. Batrider is falling off in the late game and didn't really manage to find the grab.